as many of you know, has a track record now of chronicling a very dangerous turn that we have observed in Turkey over the last decade or two. This wrong turn can be described in a number of ways, and I'm going to list some of them here today. We have noted since 2011 that Turkey has fully embraced the terrorist group Hamas, based out of the Gaza Strip. There is a headquarters that operates in Istanbul. There are military operatives that run around in the country. There are fundraisers. There are political operatives. All manner of Hamas operatives continue to roam free in Turkey despite sanctions, despite the group's violent record, and for some reason the government in Ankara has refused to change its policy. But it doesn't end there. FDD has been involved for quite some time in tracking the illicit finance that has flowed through Turkey. And between 2012 to 2015, FDD was at the forefront of researching what was known as the Gas for Gold scheme. This was a scheme facilitated by the Turkish government to help Iran evade sanctions to the tune of $20 billion. This was the largest sanctions evasion scheme in modern history, and it was designed to help the Islamic Republic evade sanctions right at the moment where the discussions between the United States and the Islamic Republic were their most sensitive, where pressure should have been brought to bear. Turkey opened up the valve and allowed for massive funds to flow, and we have not yet seen the Turkish state pay a price. It doesn't even end there. Between 2012 and roughly 2017, we saw a massive influx of fighters joining the Islamic State in Syria, passing through Turkey's borders. There was a time where some of my colleagues here at FDD, we met with let's just say a U.S. official who had recently left the region. And we asked him if he had discussed this matter with Turkish officials. And he openly stated to me that the MIT, Turkish intelligence, was of course aware of this influx of fighters, and that Turkish officials said that this would be something that after the Assad regime fell, that it would be able to take care of the problem. Of course, we know what happened as a result of Turkey's disastrous policies. We saw the rise of the Islamic State and its violence rack the region, and in many ways I think it is yet to recover. By the way, we can also note with certainty that the Islamic State was using Turkey as a jurisdiction of illicit finance transfer all throughout this process. It doesn't even end there. 2019, we saw the Turks acquire the S-400 system from Russia. This was in defiance of American policy. It continues to be a major problem, and it is something that I think truly undermines the argument that we need Turkey as a bulwark against Islamic extremism to the east and as a bulwark against the Russians as well. Everything that we have seen over the last decade and a half has undermined this argument time and again. And now we see a Turkish government utterly defiant in the wake of the 10/7 massacre. Some people are calling it a pogrom. 1,400 people killed in southern Israel while Hamas remains active in Istanbul. And the government of Turkey continues to defend its actions. Erdogan himself continues to talk about the group as a legitimate resistance movement. Unbelievable from an American ally. So what now? I think we are likely to see sanctions handed down by the U.S. government against entities that are operating inside Turkey. There is a full mobilization of the U.S. government in this regard. But I don't think that it will end there. There will need to be serious discussions about the removal of that Hamas office in Istanbul. There will need to be discussions about maritime smuggling. In fact, only a few weeks before the war erupted in the Middle East, we were all made aware of a news item revealing that there was a shipment, supposedly, of building materials that was sent from Turkey to Hamas or to the Gaza Strip. Inside that shipment of building materials was, in fact, tons of explosive materials. There are questions now about whether Turkey knew in advance of what was to come and whether this was in preparation for the rockets that Hamas would want to build. We will need to talk about diplomatic passports that Hamas has been reportedly using as it travels in and out of Turkey. And I think, finally, there will need to be a discussion, perhaps, about creating the mechanism, finally, for the ejection of NATO allies that are not acting like allies. These are all tough questions. These are not easy things for U.S. policy to handle, but I do believe that a policy review is in the offing. These are a few ideas that we can put on the table right now, but what I can tell you is that U.S. policy cannot continue as it has been, turning a blind eye to all of this malign activity being conducted by